Hi, everyone. This is Module 8, Lesson 12, and we are going to talk a little bit today about graphic features. Today's reading focus is on interpreting information. So we're going to look at how visual, oral, or quantitative information helps us understand a text. And our learning target today is I can interpret visual, oral, or quantitative information to help me understand the text. When you're reading a text, there are usually text features and graphic features. So text features are meant to draw your attention to important words and details as you read. When we talk about text features, we're talking about things like italic type, bold words, capital letters, large text, colored text, and punctuation. Now, graphic features are pictures or other images in a text that help to add to the meaning. These are things like illustrations, diagrams, maps, and speech bubbles. Authors use text features like special type and words written in boldface or italics to emphasize important words or ideas. So the purpose of text features is to present important parts of the story in a different way. The different kinds of type can show emphasis or show that it's important or indicate a title. Boldface text is thicker and it shows emphasis. So it shows this is important, or it could also show you that it's a title of a section. Italic type is type that leans a little bit to the right. And when you see italic type, it's a clue to you that you should pay attention or read that section with more feeling. It's a clue to you that this is important. Large text is text that is written bigger than the rest of the text around it, and usually it's because this is important than the other text that's smaller. Sometimes authors write texts in different colors, and that's to add interest or make it fun. Capital letters, or words that are written in all capital letters, show that something is important, and they also can indicate a title or a heading. Headings are the names of a topic in each section of a text. So when you have a full page of text, it'll have a title at the top, and then sometimes it has smaller subsections or paragraphs, and each one has a heading. And then lastly, punctuation, things like ellipses or em dashes and colons show you that important text is about to follow. Now, graphic features are used to make a text easier to understand. So these are things like illustrations, diagrams, maps, and speech bubbles that further explain the ideas in the text using visuals. Illustrations in particular and photos show specific scenes that you're reading about that directly relate to the events in the story. So it's a way to add information for you, the reader, so that you can easier understand what you're reading. Visuals also give the reader more detail about things that might not be written in the text. So they can show you what a character looks like or what a setting looks like, even though it's not explicitly stated in the text. So now readers can use illustrations and photos to check their comprehension. Now we're going to look at a piece of the text that you're reading. And if you remember in this text, Martina is about to participate in a cooking competition. So I'm going to read this section to you. Follow along with me while I read. In each bag, there were 3 eggs, a red and yellow pepper, a tomato, strawberries, and a peach. A rack of spices, seasonings, and other ingredients stood next to the table. Martina looked over at Joey, who was now smiling, rubbing his hands together. She could almost see the gears turning in his brain. He knew what he was making. She had no clue. "You'll have 20 minutes, said Mr. Jackson. Cooks, are you ready?" The 2 nodded. Joey was anxious to get to work. Martina was still thinking, but wasn't coming up with anything. Oh no, she thought. Joey's going to win this competition. "Cook," cried Mr. Jackson, and started the timer. Martina ran over to the rack to see if looking at all the spices and other ingredients would inspire her. She saw a basket of breads. Sitting on top were 2 bolillos, a kind of bread that reminded her of early morning visiting her grandparents in Mexico, warm and toasty mornings. Then it struck her. She had more than just the cooking shows to inspire her. She also had memories of her abuelito, Servando, teaching her to fix his favorite breakfast. Martina took the 2 pieces of bread, a sprig of cilantro, and some butter, and then she got cooking. So if you take a look at this text, you'll see that there are some text features. Mostly the author here uses italics. And the author uses italics to show when Martina is getting upset because she can't figure out what she's going to cook. So she says, oh no, she's thinking in her head, Joey's going to win this competition. And that stands out to us to show us that in that moment, she's feeling really frustrated and nervous. And now we're going to look at how we can use this illustration to add to our understanding of the text. So let's look over to see what it says about Joey. It says that Joey was anxious to get to work. Now, maybe you don't really know what anxious means, or maybe you need some help trying to figure it out. So I see that it says Joey was anxious to get to work. And if I look over at the illustration, I can see his face, and he has a pretty serious look on his face. So maybe anxious means serious, or maybe it also means nervous. And now, when I keep reading, it says that Martina, who was nervous, finally figures out that she can use the memories of her grandfather and how she used to cook him his favorite breakfast. So when I look at the picture of Martina, she's smiling. So that to me shows that even though she was frustrated in the beginning of the text because she didn't know what she was going to cook, she seems like she's figuring it out. And now she's cooking with a smile on her face. So in these illustrations, Joey is serious and Martina is smiling. And the illustrations really help me to understand how each character feels. So now that this illustration has reinforced to me that Martina is happy because she's using a family memory as an inspiration for her meal, and Joey is determined to take his work seriously. So as you read today, make sure you notice the text and the graphic features on each page, and you can use this anchor chart to help you identify each feature. Once you've named each text or graphic feature, then think to yourself, how does this help me, or how does it add to or contribute my understanding of the events and the character in this text? That is all for graphic features. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.